Hi there and welcome to JCB Tools. My name's Adrian and today we're going to look at this 21 Agtpk twin pack of angle grinders. Why a twin pack, you might ask? Well, if you've got the old school 115mm or 4.5 inch angle grinder, there's always the occasion when you need a larger one. And if you buy a larger grinder, there's always that occasion when it gets a bit heavy, the job's only small and you're going to want the smaller one. So this pack covers both bases. So at this point, I'm going to open the box and show exactly what you get. So I'll lay the contents out of the table. Let's start with the smaller grinder, the 115 or 4.5 inch grinder. This one comes pretty much completely assembled. So we have the handle, the spanner that's required for changing wheels, the grinder itself, and of course for the small one we've got the 115H manual. So for the larger unit in the box, we have the grinder itself, we have the guard here which will show you how to fit the universal handle. Obviously we need the spanner for removing the wheel, and finally we have the user manual. Now I do recommend that you read the user manual thoroughly before use for both of the two grinders. So one great feature with these, which I haven't seen before, I've seen two position handles. These JCB units, depending whether you're left or right handed or where you're going into, you can fit the handle this side. That would be suitable for myself being a lefty. It'll also screw in this side. And completely different, it will screw in the top as well, which gives you good two-handed operation when cutting in a vertical plane. So in exactly the same spirit, on the larger grinder, the handle will also go in any one of the three positions. So we need to put a guard on. You'll see two notches on the front here and a notch on the side. Inside the guard you'll see corresponding pins. So there's two pins here and this single pin here. So if you just line them up and drop the guard on in position, once it's in, you can then rotate the guard to whatever position you want it in. And obviously, we can lock the guard in any position around the orbit here, so that whichever orientation you're working in, you can set it to where you want quite quickly using this over center clamp. Now there is an adjustment on here with a little Allen bolt, so you can adjust the tension on this clamp. So if you find that it works its way loose, which it may do, you can just tighten up the screw, back on with the clamp, and that's now locked solid again. So even though the guard comes ready fitted on the small one, as you can see, same sort of action for altering the orientation of the guard. So we'll move on to fitting the wheel, how you would fit a wheel. Okay, I haven't got a wheel here with me, but you've got this lock button on the back which pushes down. You may have to rotate the shaft or wheel, and you'll see, let me do it again. Let me try. Okay, so I can't push that. If I rotate, you can see it then pops in. That locks the shaft of the grinder, and then using the key provided, undo the lower nut. And there we are. Oop, the nut comes off. So, ideally, what you would do is put yourself on an abrasive wheels mounting course, first of all, so that you know how to fit them correctly. But it's straightforward. What's very important with these is to make sure that the register in the center of your grinding wheel is sat down over that little emboss, and then obviously you can fit the nut on. If it's a particularly thick wheel, you can use the emboss on the nut so that the two embossed parts are fitting together. For a thin cut-off wheel, you'd use the flat side against the wheel. So, still holding the shaft, we tighten up the nut onto the grinding wheel, and again, little nip with a spanner. It's a conventional thread, left anti-clockwise to undo, clockwise to do up. So that's how you would remove the nut. But it does have this convenient lock on the back. And of course, as you'd expect, exactly the same system on the larger of the two grinders. So an interesting feature on this machine, which I haven't seen on other grinders, is the ability to rotate the trigger handle to make it more comfortable depending on which orientation you're using it. You'll see this button on the top here, and that will allow me, by pushing the button, to rotate the handle down at 90 degrees to the cutting wheel. If I push the handle again, it'll come back to the normal upright lock position, and I can push it and come back down 90 degrees the other way as well. That just gives you a bit more versatility with a heavy angle grinder, which they are, to get in a comfortable position when using it. So that would be conventional. So usual safety trigger mechanism on these. Obviously I can't pull the trigger. If I just push that catch forward like that, it releases it, and then I can switch it on and off. Okay, so if you're carrying it round, it won't start. So the on-off switch on the small grinder here, simply this black button, push it forward like this, and it'll latch in the on position and lock itself on. Again, if you just push in on this end, it'll switch itself off. So push down, push forward, release, it'll lock on in the on position, or just push down. If you're going to keep your finger on it, it won't latch. It's only when you release your finger it'll latch. So to switch off, give it a push, it'll switch off immediately. So both of these units are supplied with a 13 amp plug and lead, and they're both designed to fit into a standard UK 13 amp socket. So there we are, convenience all round, and exactly the same on the other machine. Well, I do hope you found this demonstration useful. For more information on these or any of our other products, visit jcbtools.co.uk. I've been Adrian, and thank you for joining me.